I, Raymond Foster, am one of the greatest and bravest heroes and accomplished men to have ever walked the face of this earth. Many will be confused about these facts, as they are still trapped as slaves in the global anti-white slave system. And so they are unable to see the reality before them and instead justify their own weak slave position.
It's not really slavery. We pay tax. It's called paying tax.
No, you don't pay tax. That's called being a slave. Don't tell me you work hard and you pay tax. No, you work like a bitch and you're a slave. You don't work hard and pay tax. You put your tail between your legs, you cower, alright? And then you let the government rob you and take your shit. You bitch. That's what it is. You don't go to work and pay taxes like a hard working man. No, you bitch. You bitch. When you do some slave labour and give away your fucking what you've made from it. Like a bitch. Okay? You pay for your house. You pay for food at the supermarket. You pay for everything. You work all day for money, and then you gotta buy this, pay for that, pay for this, pay for that, because you're a fucking slave. Alright? So don't tell me, well, how would we have free fuel? How would we have free food? You can't have free you can't have things for free. Well, no, you can in the real world. Everything's free. If you don't get it for free, guess what? You're a fucking slave cunt. Grow some balls. Clearly, if folk understood, if the average slave, right, who makes the excuses, oh, work hard, pay my taxes, mate, I pay for fuel, I buy my groceries, mate, yeah, because I'm a hard working man, mate, yeah. Right? He's make all these excuses. If these slaves understood that a man like myself is one of the bravest, greatest heroes to have ever walked this earth, standing up against a global slave system, and that if people simply stood up and stopped being slaves, stopped going to work, stopped paying taxes, fuck me, stop being bitch slaves, stop letting the government rob you, fuck the taxes off, fuck paying rent, fuck paying for fuel, for food, for any of this shit. We shouldn't have to pay for anything. We're free citizens. We should have everything for free. If the average person understood this, they understood that I was one of the greatest, bravest heroes to ever walk this earth. And they had the balls to be heroes themselves. They stood up as heroes. And we all stood shoulder to shoulder as heroes to protect humanity, to protect the next generations, to protect the children from being brainwashed into this global slave system. If people understood this, then there would be no global slave system. We would stand up as heroes shoulder to shoulder. No one would go to work. No one would pay tax. No one would pay for food. No one would pay for electricity. No one would pay for water. No one would pay for fuel. And if we all stood up as heroes, shoulder to shoulder, no one went to work, no one paid for nothing, and we demanded freedom, do you think there'd ever be a tax rise? Do you think there'd ever be inflation? No. There would be no taxes. And we would have everything for free. Because we simply stood up and demanded our freedom. Instead of living like slaves, going to work, paying taxes. It's pathetic. And so obviously, again, as I pointed out, if you have any intelligence, you've already figured it out yourself, you've come to this conclusion that evil slave masters will give you a false perception of reality regarding men like myself, because they do not want you to know that I am a hero like Robin Hood, or a hero greater than William Wallace, one of the greatest heroes fighting one of the greatest evils ever in all of human history. Because, again, if you understood that, if the average person understood that, which they will in time, because we will liberate humanity from this evil, then they would stand together as heroes. We would simply demand freedom peacefully. There need not be any violence or any hardship or suffering. We simply need to just have non-compliance in the slave system. Simply say, no, I will not go to work. I will not pay taxes. I will not be a slave in your slave system. I will not pay for food. I will not pay for fuel. I am not a slave. No. If we all stand up and do this, then we get given housing for free. We go to the supermarket, we take what we want, the groceries we want, we walk out, we go home. It's all free. We fill up our cars at the gas station for free. We don't have to go to work. We don't pay any taxes. It's that simple. We just have to stand together as a people and say, no, we're not doing it anymore. We are free. We will no longer be slaves. And that is the reason why there is so much effort into what is called depersonalizing or socially lynching folk like myself. This is even evident when random people just say, mock me or laugh, right? People will listen to this and right what I'm saying right now, and people will be denying. People, as if, Raymond, you aren't a great hero. You aren't one of the greatest, bravest heroes who have ever lived, who ever walked the face of the earth. And guess what? That's further evidence that I am, and that's one of the whips, right? The self-imposed psychological whips that they've brainwashed into your mind, so you whip yourself into action to be a slave. That's one of the whips. You laughing at a man like me and not seeing me as one of the greatest, bravest heroes to have ever lived. That's one of the whips in your head that makes you a slave bitch. Because if you could understand the truth, the reality before you, that Raymond Foster is one of the greatest, bravest heroes to have ever lived, to have ever walked this earth, my name will go down in history. I will have statues built in my image. And you not understanding that, not accepting that, is a self-imposed psychological slave whip that whips you into action as a pathetic, weak slave. Because you have not got the courage or the bravery to be a man like Raymond Foster. You're a slave. You pay bills. You go to work. You pay for things. You are a slave. When you understand that someone like myself is one of the greatest and bravest heroes to have ever lived, to have ever walked this earth, then you yourself are becoming a hero. You're going free of the slave system, and together we will liberate humanity and put an end to this evil, tyrannical, global anti-white slave system. We will free our people, and the coming generations of our folk will not live as slaves as we have our entire lives. The coming generations of our people will be free. Again, they will not pay for housing. They will not pay rent. They will not pay for anything. They will not pay for fuel, for food, for water, for electricity. Anything. They will have everything for free. If you want your descendants to live as pathetic, weak slaves and have to pay for things of other people, no thanks. Alright? The descendants of our folk who are free, abundant, strong, healthy people in the future, my descendants who will come after me, will be free, and they will pay for nothing. They will pay no taxes. They will never work, and they will have everything they need and want for free. If you want the same thing for your descendants, if you are a hero, a real man or a real woman, and you want the same thing for your children, your great-grandchildren, your great-great-great-great-grandchildren to come, that they can live with everything for free and never have to work a day in their life, never pay a cent of tax, then stand with me as a hero, shoulder to shoulder. Because it is our descendants who will live free. They will build statues of men like me and you. You, who understand and who can see, who at least can start to see, who is open to the possibility to see that I am one of the greatest and bravest heroes to have ever walked this earth. You have the potential yourself to be a hero equal to me, or even greater than me. And you will have statues built of you. Folk will write poems about you. In 1,000 years' time, children will read stories about you and the heroic work you did to put an end to this anti-white global slave system.